Morning. I've camped at about 11,000 feet last night and have now climbed to 11.5, which is the high point for today. I've only got about 14 miles left to get to Creede, which is a fire road for about 3 miles, which I'm currently doing, and then the trail drops down into the valley again. Passes right next to Deep Creek Canyon. It's another 5 or 6 miles, and then the trail ends just south of Creede, and it's a little bit of walking to get into town, where I'll spend the rest of the day running errands, laundry, shower, and resupply for the next 5 days. And then the plan is to head out tomorrow and start that 5-day stretch to Monarch Pass. Last night I luckily had enough daylight left. I stopped at about 6:30 to cook dinner and stretch properly and kind of rest a little bit. So this morning, after a good night's sleep, I feel a lot better and ready for the day's challenges. Hydrologically, today is also a highlight. Just south of Creede, I'll be crossing the Rio Grande, which is one of the major waterways in the US. And I've been walking in the Rio Grande National Forest for quite a while now, which probably protects the watershed for this river. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess you all have heard of the Rio Grande. It's an important river in many Wild West stories. Wow, I finally made it into Deep Creek Canyon. That was actually quite a drop. It was about a 2,000 feet descent and going through thick, really neat, spring smelly forest. So very enjoyable hike. And now I'm going to take a little breakfast break and then continue the next 6 miles along the river that goes through this valley, and then eventually the valley will open up. And you might have wondered why in almost 50 videos I haven't really addressed the elephant in the room, which is just the political situation in the US. And let me do that here. I walked through New Mexico and parts of Colorado by now, so I've met my fair share of people, and that's certainly not representative of the US as a whole, because most of the people that I meet are either traveling or they're living in very small town, rural southwestern US. Now, I did wait a while with this topic because I think it's important to immerse yourself in a country and a culture and observe and listen before actually forming an impression. And I've had a good share of conversations over the past couple of weeks. I've talked to bakers, road workers, forest professionals, lawyers, carpenters, firefighters, law enforcement professionals, servicemen, retail workers, people from all walks of life that I've just met along the way. And one of the initial things that I was quite surprised by is that both with hikers as well as with community members and people you meet along the way, it's just not a topic. Nobody really addresses it, nobody talks about it. But if you talk to people a little longer, you kind of hear a little more about what they think and where they're coming from. And it's definitely there. I mean, it's not that people are unaffected or unaware of it. And I don't really know what the exact reason is, but to me it seems like most people are trying to actively evade the topic because it affects them so excessively negative that they have just had it. You have to excuse my lack of vocabulary, but the longer you talk to people, the more you get a sense of disillusionment, disenchantment, despair, just personal and emotional retreat from, I'm just going to call it, societal larger problems here in the US. And especially out here, you do meet a lot of people who kind of convey the sense that they live out here, moved out here to get away from it all and kind of retreat to the personal, a concentration on things they can immediately affect: family, neighbors, church communities, towns, just because there is such a widespread disillusionment about the capability of democratic governing processes to solve the omnipotent problems that are visible all around you. And it really makes me sad seeing a country with so much potential, so much beauty, so much kindness being in the state that it's in. But it also really helps me to get a better grasp of, I'm just gonna call it, the mental state of the nation. Because from outside of the US, you obviously only ever get the top level news, you know, what's going on the country level, what's going on in Washington. There's very rarely you ever hear about how it affects everyday people just trying to live their life. And so these encounters that I'm having along the way really do open up that perspective, and I appreciate it a lot.
I'm Spicy, I'm 26, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. I fell in love with through hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail, and I just wanted to do more of it. And I've never seen the Rocky Mountains, and I was excited to visit them. I started April 27th, so a little, I think like 38 days now.
Okay, so tell me about your favorite day so far.
Probably the Gila River, that day on the Gila. And then coming out of the Gila, I got to camp with the two guys I'm hiking with right now for the first time, Houdini and Salt Lick. And I didn't know it then, but they've become like some of my best friends I've ever met. They've both become like brothers to me, so that's been a really awesome experience. So.
And now the obvious follow-up has to be, what was your worst day on trail so far?
I became a real thru hiker one day, and that was probably my worst day on trail. Because you're not a real thru hiker till you shit your pants.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all had that moment once, huh?
Yeah, I had it on the PCC, and now I've had it on this trail, so I'm done for now.
All right, then, well, you got that settled then.
Yeah.
Perfect.